Good evening. Jane, you mind shutting that door? Thank you very much. Welcome to the February 8th, 2016. Don't shut it? No. Jane, never mind, don't shut it. Oh, it's a lock.
Can't shut that.
It's an open meeting.
Open door meeting.
I got you. Excuse us, sorry. So first order of business for the council meeting is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. On to the roll call of members.
Present.
Councilman Campbell.
Here.
Councilman Coots.
Here.
Councilman Large.
Here.
Councilman Copeland.
Here.
Councilman Lamar.
Here.
Councilman Fleming.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, first order of business, we're gonna go back to old business here. We're gonna actually skip to the Open Gov presentation. We had a conference call we're a little late for, so we're gonna go right into that. So we have Brian on the line. Open Gov is a kind of a government finance transparency portal that I thought the council may benefit from hearing, kind of seeing a presentation from them. So I will let Brian take it away.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I appreciate you letting me steal a couple of moments here. Quick introduction to OpenGov, what we're doing here. Essentially, what we've developed is a web-based platform that allows government entities to easily share and communicate the budget and financial information. We got our start during the California budget crisis based out of Northern California and really quickly began to learn and realize the difficulties that governments were experiencing when coming to the financial and budget season. Typically what we're seeing is financial systems not being the most user-friendly, and then once getting the data out is very complex reports, difficult to understand. So what we started to do was build this web-based platform that would take all that very complex data, put it into a very easy-to-read and interactive format. And as we started to partner up with more and more governments, pick up more and more momentum, it became really clear that this is actually not only providing great value to our partners out there for transparency and citizen engagement initiatives, but also for internal reporting capabilities. Anything from council meeting presentations, budget documents, internal department head meetings. So at which point about 4 years ago, we launched our company, and our business has absolutely exploded since then. We're now working with over 800 governments across the United States, and really excited to walk you all through the platform here. So just to clarify, everybody should be able to see Greenwood, Indiana up on your screen currently.
No, we're seeing a hang tight. Presenter's not showing anything yet.
Oops. Glad that I asked. Sorry about that. Okay, now you should see Greenwood. Okay, apologies there. So this is a partner of ours, one of the first that we joined up with, Greenwood, Indiana. Very important to point out, first of all, it's all web-based. So it's fully hosted on our servers, not a project for your staff internally, completely a turnkey solution. You just simply submit the data over to us, and then we'll do the rest. This is our first annual view, which was really designed to help you all tell the story behind the budget and really begin to engage the community. As you'll see for Greenwood, their initial default view is set up to where it's expenses, broken down by departments. And then historically, they go back to the 2012 actual, all the way up to the 2015 budget. Now, very important to point out, this is going to be 100% custom built for your financial structure. It's not a one-size-fits-all. We do individually build every site that we work with. And then second to that, historically, you can upload as much information as you wish. So whether that means you wanted to have 4 years of data for a public-facing view, but maybe internally within the organization, you wanted to have 10 or 12 years of information to use for further review. And then as you see here, it's very interactive, easy to work with. So I scroll over the different departments, starting to bring up what portion of the total budget is going to that specific department, broken down by dollar amounts and percentages. So as I scroll over the public safety, utilities, public works, and then at any point you can just simply click on it. So if I wanted to look at the public safety, for example, Now you're looking at the public safety budget and how it's being allocated to what goes to your police and what goes to the fire department. And you can continue to drill down here as well. So say we wanted to just look at the police department, very high level view here. But what's really neat about this platform is the capability that it will have to make it very easy for anyone to understand. So say we wanted to get a better understanding as to how this budget's actually being allocated. We can just flip this around to the expense type. You're still looking at the police department, but now you're looking at it broken down as far as, okay, what's going to personnel, supplies, capital outlay. And then down below, you'll have all the data and numbers to support this as well. So for any numbers folks out there. And then this becomes very interactive as well, where you can open up each individual line item. Then as I scroll back up to the top here, also very important to point out that we leave it up to your organization as far as how you'd like this displayed. So whether that's utilizing the bar graphs, a lot of the partners we're working with out there love the pie graphs. For public-facing view is very easy to understand. And then what's really nice about this is it makes it fully exportable as well. So a lot of the partners we've been working with out there will tell us all the time that they're manually building reports just like this for council presentation, budget documents. But then one click of a button here, you can actually export this information, have it ready to go at your fingertips to drop into that presentation or document that you're working. That's freeing up a ton of time for our partners out there, really saving them quite a bit. And then as I reset this, it's also very important to point out that it's not just about expenses. So we do a full mapping of the revenue side as well. You can map out revenues by departments, revenues by revenue types across the organization, or you can even do a direct side-by-side comparison of both the revenues and expenses on the same graph. And then taking it another level further, we really make this very customized to you specifically, but we have some areas in here to where the group can start to build in some saved views, whether you want to use this for internal or external reporting. If there's any types of messaging that you'd like to convey out to your community, how much is spent on public safety, for example. Just click on it, and then at which point it will bring you directly to that specific live report. And then lastly, we do also get into current reporting that will help a lot for internal operations. We've heard this across the country, that some of the monthly reports that teams have to build for council meetings or department head meetings, you can actually utilize the OpenGov platform to do that monthly reporting as well for you. So whereas you can do expenses broken down by departments, but now being able to look at a specific month, you can drill through this just like I did before, or we can open up different filters that you wanted to apply. Say we wanted to do overtime wages. Within one click of a button, you have your overtime wages broken down across the entire organization by department for the month of October of each year historically, 14-15 budgets and the 14-15 actual. And then what's really nice about this down below, it automatically calculates the budget to actual variance both by dollar amounts as well as percentages. And then lastly here, we have had a lot of our partners out there across the country really starting to build this directly into their home websites as well. So a great way for you to start to engage the community. You can do this in many different ways, whether it be, different little hyperlinks with some FAQs and supporting documents attached to it, all the way down to a full-on video, for example. We had a partner of ours, City of Miamisburg, that actually did a full video tutorial to tell the community exactly how to utilize the OpenGov platform. So that's a bit about the OpenGov platform here. Wanted to save a few minutes at the end for any types of questions from the group or anything that I can answer.
Council, do we have any questions for Brian? Or I would open it to the public as well. If we had any questions, we could repeat it for Brian as well, too.
Who's responsible for inputting all the data in the initial startup?
Did you hear that, Brian, or you mean to repeat it?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Great question. So what will happen is we work directly with the internal staff. They'll run a simple report through the financial system, which we've already talked about, and we're very familiar with that financial system. We have a set of instructions to do that. It's a simple report that you pull the data out, and then you'll just send it over to us at OpenGov, and then we handle the heavy lifting from there. Then after that process is complete, typically we're seeing our partners are uploading new data sets on a monthly basis after they've closed their books. Once all the data is mapped out, the technology will do the rest of the work. It takes our partners about 5 minutes a month at most to upload new information. Great question.
Didn't we put some money in regards to updating your system as well? Is that something that this could possibly go hand in hand with and help you out, or is it completely different than what you're looking at?
It won't change. We were looking at like new payroll, new accounts payable, an entirely different financial system, and all this does is it makes what system we've got transparent. So
Gotcha.
it doesn't really affect how we would do anything because we're still looking for new software.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes a month is what the additional workload on the clerk's office would be to get it posted. And
Okay.
any other questions from the public? Or
You say 5 minutes,
a month, yeah.
5 minutes a month, is it automatically downloaded from the current software that they have?
Brian, we have a councilman asking if the data is automatically downloaded from the software they have. If you could kind of explain that one more time.
Yeah, great question. So it's not an automatic upload. So we don't have a direct integration per se, but what's great about the OpenGov platform is once we've done that initial mapping of all of the data and the general ledger information from your financial system, it's literally as easy as dragging and dropping the file over to our platform. At which point all the technology will do all the mapping. So that's where that typically about 5 minutes a month comes into play, is just running that quick report and dropping it into our platform.
But our system would have to have the capacity to be able to drag numbers over. I just know how you can get so involved with this type of thing, where 5 minutes a month just seems like an incredibly small amount of time.
Brian, can you explain
Yeah,
how our
it's
software
just
works?
one file. Sorry, that was my fault for not explaining it well. It's just a simple Excel spreadsheet that'll be extracted from the financial system. So it's just one file that you drop into the actual platform itself. It's not dragging and dropping numbers per se. It's just one bulk file. And then at which point our technology will crawl through the file, map it to the existing chart of accounts and the data set that we've done on our end for the initial implementation.
And your program's already very familiar with the one we use, correct?
That's correct. Greenwood, Indiana is a good example. Greenwood, Indiana runs on the same exact financial system. And I can rest assured we've done it several times throughout the state of Indiana. We're really familiar with the Keystone system that you have in place.
Actually, a couple questions. So the first would be from a fee structure. Is it a Brian?
I cannot. If you could repeat the question for me, that'd be great.
So on the fee structure, is it a per data dump, if you will? So if we decide, after every council meeting, we pay the claims, those sorts of things, can we do that every 2 weeks? Is it, a flat fee, or what does that look like?
We have a question about the fee structure. Is it a per data dump, or is it or an annual basis?
Great question. It's just one flat yearly rate, which is great for our partners out there. Makes it very easy for them to get onto the platform at a very affordable cost. And then after that yearly fee is paid, it's really a platform and a tool for you all to have. So as many reports as you would like to build, as many data sets as you'd like to put in here, we welcome that. This is something we want organizations to be using across the entire internal and external department. So our ideal situation is everyone in council has access to this, of course, citizens, internal department heads, so that way they can really start to operate much more efficiently.
And then as a kind of a secondary question, so obviously Greenwood is a little bit larger than us, but I pulled up your website and going through the case studies, there's, from a scalability standpoint, I'm seeing people anywhere from population 815,000 all the way down to, a city that did a population of 4,000. So when we look at Lebanon, we're not in a bad position from a scalability point, correct?
Question about the scalability, just talk about the sizes of the different communities you've worked with, kind of from the largest to the smallest, and how we fit in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we've worked with anything from the state of Ohio, for example, is actually launching our checkbook report across the entire state. So that's one of the largest we've worked with. And we worked with everybody from very small villages. I think Hempstead Village in Pennsylvania is our smallest, and they're just shy of $1 million in operating budget. We have student-run organizations on the OpenGov platform, nonprofit organizations. We work with some very, very small organizations, some very large, and a lot of mid-sized ones. A lot of the smaller organizations that we are working with do find even more value in an OpenGov platform like this because of the fact that typically their time internally is so valuable and they're doing so many different things at once that our tool to help them operate more efficiently is incredibly valuable to them.
Good, Corey? Good. Any other questions from council?
What's the cost on something like that? What's the cost on something like this?
Have a question about cost, Brian.
Yep, absolutely. Let me pull that up here real quick. Sorry about that. So what we have you set up to where it is a flat yearly rate, and for the budget size of the city there, sorry, I didn't have it right in front of me. It'll be right at an annual cost of $7,500.
And was there a one-time setup or?
There's a one-time setup fee, correct, as well?
Correct. Yeah, so we do have a one-time implementation fee, which covers the entire implementation process, the mapping of all the data, your opening up of the platform, building reports for internal and external. That's right at $4,000.
Is the cost, what's the cost to keep all the software updated though? Is that the $7,500 per year, is that cost to update all the software each year too?
We have a question about software and software updating.
Yep.
But there isn't, right? Because
Yeah.
it's web-based?
Yeah, great question, sir. So this is 100% web-based, and what's great about this, the fact that we can deploy this at a very affordable cost, first of all, and then also a huge benefit to that is the fact that anytime that OpenGov does new enhancements, there's no coming on site for new hardware installation. We just simply push it through to your platform. So one of the great pluses of having this cloud-based technology in place is the fact that every time we do a new enhancement or security features, et cetera, it's just automatically pushed through to your platform.
Do we have any more technical questions? We can talk between ourselves offline without Brian, but wanted to, sure, we have a question from the audience, Brian. Come on up to the microphone, or actually, you can ask me and I'll relay it. We had a question, once the data is dumped, how quickly does a public citizen see that data?
So for the reports that will be public facing, it is instant, essentially. As soon as the mapping process is complete, it'll go live. So it's pushed through to the public facing view. Now it's really important to point out to the group here, you can have both internal and external reports. So if there's some reports that are, still being worked on by the internal staff, or maybe some council-specific views that, are being discussed about, you can actually have certain internal-only facing views. But the moment that the data is pushed in here, it is instantly put into the platform.
Mr. Smith.
Can individual checks be observed, individual checks that are written, can they be observed?
Brian, we have a question about individual checks being observed in the system.
Yes, we do have a checkbook view as well. This is what we've deployed across the entire state of Ohio. But it's very similar to the first two views that I showed you. But essentially, you can upload all the way down to the transaction level to where you can have this being what you're seeing right in front of you for Huber Heights in Ohio. This is their online checkbook. Now, you can make this as detailed as you wish. You can extract certain confidential information, of course, that shouldn't be, shared publicly. But yes, the answer to your question is you can get all the way down to the transaction level detail.
Any other final questions? Okay, thank you, Brian. I appreciate you coming and sharing with us. I'm a big fan of your software, your platform, and we'll discuss with you and get back to you soon, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, council. I appreciate you humoring me for that. I think that could be cool. All right, technology, right? Okay. I think it'd be a cool tool we could use to absolutely increase some public awareness of transparency, things like that. So we can talk about that later. But just like I said, just wanted to give the presentation and we can have some discussions going forward, okay? Okay, back to regular business here now. Old business, was there any old business from the previous meeting come before the council? Actually, we need
Approval of minutes.
minutes, thank you, sorry. We'll go to approval of minutes then.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second? Motion and a second? I think it's Corey. Yep. All in favor to approve the minutes? Aye. Those opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay. Now, so we also have another presentation here. So in the past, we've done proclamations for different groups, and this week we're doing a proclamation for Tri Kappa Week, which will be February 16th through the February 22nd. So we're just kind of doing a city proclamation recognizing them and their benefits they've done to the community. If you wanted to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I'm Lisa Hutchison. I was honored to be elected president of the Alpha Beta chapter of Tri Kappa last September. Tri Kappa is unique to Indiana. It's only in Indiana. It was started in 1901 and currently has 144 active chapters with about 9,000 women. Sorry, guys, it's a women's-only organization. In our chapter, we have about 55 members that range in age from 18 to mid-80s. So we're all very active. Through our fundraisers, which probably most of you have been to, if you've been to any of the 4th of July activities, we have an ice cream social up at the park every year, and also our Coney Dog Sloppy Joe famous secret recipe sale at Back to the 50s. And the money we gain from those fundraisers, as well as others, helps us fund several projects in the community, as well as scholarships that promote charity, culture, and education. And I'm happy to report that we'll be adding a couple additional fundraisers this year. Us mothers who have no daughters feel left out when there's a daddy-daughter dance. We're having a mother-son dance this year. And also we'll be working on a Lebanon Monopoly game that will be for sale at the end of the year. And all the money we raise from these activities go to promote a lot of great things in our community. And we meet the second Tuesday of every month, except for a month in the summer, and we're always seeking new members. So if you know of a young lady who would like to join us, we love to have new members. It's a really fun group, and I think we do a lot for the community. So thank you so much for declaring our week next week and for the proclamation. We appreciate it.
No problem at all, Lisa. Let me come down and give you the actual proclamation here, all right?
Great.
Okay, now what we're all here for. Moving on to the ethics ordinance discussion. I just wanted to bring this issue up before the council. Like I said, I said in the past, I want this to be kind of a very open forum for council members and for us to discuss issues kind of facing kind of things that are on my mind or things that we wanted to talk about. So this is something that I've been talking about, an ethics ordinance. Based on my attorneys and I's best, the city attorneys and I's best efforts, we have not found anything in the Lebanon ordinances that lays out an ethics code, platform, anything like that. So we wanted to put one forward. You should have received kind of a model from other communities have done in the past. We obviously would tailor this to Lebanon, but I just kind of really just wanted to breach the subject today, and if we wanted to kind of form a smaller committee to kind of talk about this further, I'd be more than happy to. But just want to get some kind of initial reactions from the council if you guys had any concerns or questions of kind of why I was kind of putting this forward. So I'm willing to open it up to the council or the public if there's any comments on that. If you guys are okay with me moving forward with that with you guys, I think that's the next step on this. But there's no vote tonight. Just wanted to broach the subject.
What's the benefit of putting it into an ordinance form when the employees have that in their employee policy handbooks and so forth?
Personally, I would just say, I mean, I think societies are, they're judged on base what they're, the laws of a society tell a lot about them. And I think it's important for the city of Lebanon to have a stated public position in the process that's had a public comment process to make sure it's enshrined in our laws, our local ordinances. That's kind of why I've suggested putting one forward. I think, everyone wants to make sure we operate in an ethical manner and do this. But also in addition, part of the ordinance that was offered in the other communities, there's a ethics committee or ethics commission that's part of the ordinance that's created and appointed by the mayor's office and the city council members to that to kind of oversee if there's any ethics complaints from the citizens. So it gives the citizens an opportunity to just maybe raise a red flag, say, hey, I think there's something going on here, and there would be individuals in the community empowered to look into that situation. But again, I think it's stating publicly that we are, in Lebanon, we're committed to operating in the most ethical way possible.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. This last year, we talked to a lot of people here in Lebanon. I did personally too, and people want to see an ethics ordinance, something solid that the city can lean back on. And I think this is a good way to move forward for the people of Lebanon.
Any other comments from the council? Any public comment? Okay. You guys okay with me moving forward? I don't know if you guys want to decide who all want to be. We can talk about that, figure out who wants to be on that, kind of work on the drafting language, things like that. But unless you want to, anybody here tonight, we can figure out who's interested. Okay. All right, moving on then, up to the Lebanon Fire Car Seat Safety Program Fund Request. Chief Batch, you still here? I am. All right. We should get waiting music for you to come up here.
Good evening once again. I would like to approach the council to request funds from the Food and Beverage Fund to assist us with the purchase of car seats. We are requesting $1,000. Our car seat program has really taken off. This program offers assistance to low-income families that are in need of a car seat. Many times these are single-parent situations with limited access for assistance. We have applied for and received a $1,350 grant through the state of Indiana. And the state has changed up how they do their grant system for the car seat program. In the past, they have gone ahead and given us those funds. We put those into a car seat non-reverting account, and we use them on an as-needed basis. Now the state holds those funds in escrow, so someone has to come in, go through the process, we apply for the car seat, we get it, we purchase a car seat, and that money's taken from escrow, and we pay for the car seat. And that's a great system, except when there is an immediate need for a car seat. A lot of times we have individuals come in where their child no longer fits in the car seat, or there's an emergency situation, and we do not have car seats available. We do not feel like, once someone enters the fire station and there's a car seat issue, we can't ethically let them leave knowing that, the child doesn't fit in the car seat or it may be broke. So the funds that we're requesting, we're going to take that money and purchase car seats and keep several of them in stock at Station 11. So if we have an impromptu incident or an emergency situation or someone that comes in and needs an immediate car seat, we would be able to go to these stock car seats and use them in that particular instance. And we have paperwork in place and check and balance, so this program is not being abused. And like I said, it has really taken off, and this program is helping the right people in our city, for sure. Any questions?
John, did you have a question?
Me?
You had a question for me earlier that I didn't know the answer to.
Oh, how many seats are you looking to purchase for $1,000?
Well, we think around 7 or 8, and then we would take the remaining funds, and then we would put that into the car seat non-reverting account. And they would be seats of a wide variety, and we would keep those to the same specifications that we used for the grant money. And with that money, we have to use seats that are made in the United States and meet certain UL requirements. So we would keep that same criteria for these seats.
Okay.
Okay, at that
Chief.
point, though, will you then send in the voucher to the state to get reimbursed for that one, and so you can replace it?
No, we would not. We would kind of keep those, well, not kind of, we would keep those two things separate. When someone comes in and they schedule their car seat, they know that they have an impending birth, and they know their financial situation hasn't allowed them to purchase a car seat. So they come in 2 weeks early, they set up the appointment for the fitting. That's the time that we're going to use this grant money. So we have that 2-week period that we can go and access those funds in escrow. So
But
the money that we're
Instead of
using,
waiting for it to come from the state, Keith, they've got it on hand.
Yeah, but I thought what you said was they had to get the seat first before you get the money back. You couldn't just send it down there. If you could wait 2 weeks, I suppose you're right, it's the emergency one. But again, why could they not go ahead and get reimbursed? I mean, I understand us having the seat there, but at some point in time, we'll run out of 7 or 8 seats, and you'll be back here asking for more.
there is a chance of that happening. I don't feel like it would be good policy to use those impromptu seats and then go back and reach into those escrow funds. You're right, there is a chance, let's say in 6 or 7 months, that we might need to come back and ask for funds once again. But I feel like this is the type of program that the city should promote. We are not helping the individual as much as we're helping that child in the car seat.
Well, I understand. Child, I'm all for that. But at the same time, how do we know, like I said, are they going to have to fill out the same paperwork?
Absolutely, yes. If it's an impromptu situation, they're going to fill out the same paperwork that we use for the escrow grant program,
Okay.
and they will meet the same criteria.
And Chief Batts, so obviously I have some close ties to a program similar to this, and I personally would actually like us to see us match the grant from the state. I would like to see us put 1,350, not 1,000. That's my personal opinion. I think it's an extremely important program, and that would really get us a start. So,
Is that a motion?
Is that a motion?
Yeah, was that a motion?
yeah, I motion we approve 1,350 from Food and Beverage for the car seat program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the council on the pending motion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Appears the vote has passed unanimously. Here we go.
I do have some updated information on our car seat program. We are constantly applying for grants for this. And in April is our hope to host a county-wide car seat clinic at the Lebanon Fire Department, reaching out to LPD and the Boone County Sheriff's Office, Zionsville Fire, Zionsville PD, and Lebanon Fire has applied for an $800 grant to get that up and running. It's going to be heavily advertised to the community, and once again, people are going to have to fall within that criteria to be able to get a seat. But it's also a program to where if someone doesn't need financial assistance, but they need help getting their car seat into their vehicle properly, we also do that. So many times we have young parents and even older parents come in, they have a new car seat, they're really unsure how it goes in, and our car seat techs can fit that into their vehicle for them. And I've been a very small part of this process. Deputy Chief Baird, firefighter Gabe Westerfeld, and Lieutenant Laney Mitchell have really spearheaded the car seat program and have done an excellent job with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right, move on to Item D, the Green Street vacation request from the Milky Way. First up, I'm going to have Derek Warren from the Planning Department to kind of set the scene here for us. Derek?
Hello again, everyone. If you'll bear with me here a second, I'm going to give you a snapshot of what leads me to the request tonight that's before you. On January 18th of 2016, during the Plan Commission meeting, Brian and Lisa Richards, owners of the Milky Way, 836 Indianapolis Avenue, presented docket number 15-37, a request to vacate what is platted as East Green Street, north of the Milky Way building, and the alley to the west of their business. The alley vacation request also includes the alley to the west of the residential property owned by the Richards directly north of Milky Way at address 722 Indianapolis Avenue. The Richards at that time presented a deed containing language that the street and alley have been previously vacated. However, a survey commissioned by the City of Lebanon for the northern half of the Liberty subdivision did not show any recorded documents indicating the vacation. At the time of the meeting, our office researched city council meetings dating back to 1980 to look for this vacation and did not find any mention. Since the Plan Commission meeting, we have gone back to 1960 without any luck of finding minutes for the vacation. With the information at hand during the January 18th meeting, in combination with public input, the Plan Commission forwarded the request to the council with a favorable recommendation to vacate Green Street and an unfavorable recommendation to vacate the alley. During the Plan Commission meeting, things were talked about that piqued my curiosity, and I decided to dig further into the request. During that research, I found a clerical error in the staff presentation in addition to new information that came to light. Enough new information has been discovered, so I feel it is necessary to send the request back to the Plan Commission for further conversation before the council receives a recommendation. Tonight, I am seeking a motion from the Lebanon City Council to send the East Green Street alley vacation, docket number 1537, back to the Plan Commission due to those recent findings. Because of the additional research into the Liberty subdivision as a whole and the new information, I feel it is in the best interest of the vacation request to revisit the application with the Lebanon Plan Commission for a more detailed, complete presentation. The motion I am seeking tonight is for the City Council to formally send the vacation request back to the Plan Commission for further review.
Thank you, Derek. Is there any public comment on this situation? Mr. Whitsitt?
Thank you. I'm Tom Whitsitt, and I represent Brian and Lisa Richards. And we were prepared to make a presentation to the council. This afternoon, I talked with Derek, and he explained that he wanted to send this back to the Plan Commission. And on behalf of the Richards, we have no objection to the council sending it back to the Plan Commission for another look at it, given the additional information that he now has. And that's our input. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Is there any other public comment? Please state your name, too, before you speak.
Yes, my name's Dan Allen, and I live at the other end of the alley. And if this is going back to the Planning Commission, now this is going to be since last December, so in November, December, January, February, and who knows how long again. The alley still has a chain across it. And I went to the records up above, across the hallway here. That was never granted. It never had permission. And the last comment at the last planning commission was, all you had to do was unhook it and move it and drive out. Well, I went over and unhooked it and moved it. The next morning it was moved back and there was 2 trucks parked in front of it. So I want to know if this is going back to the Planning Commission again for another month or more for review, is anybody going to get a spine and go down and take care of this problem? It's been there illegally for the last 16 months. They never had permission, according to the letter I looked at, across the hall. So I want to know if anybody's going to do anything, or is it going to continue to just sit there?
I think the reason we're going back to the planning commission is we want to make sure we get it right. I think Derek kind of explained this has been an issue for a long period of time, and I think we're trying to find the solution that will work forever from then on. So I think we're trying to make sure, cross all the Ts and dot the Is.
But the
So,
only-
Then
Mayor, the
why
only-
do they still get to leave the chain there?
Mr.
If
Allen.
it's not legal or not legal.
Mr. Allen, as of this weekend, there were actually 4 vehicles not on their property blocking the alley. And then the apartment directly, or the building directly south actually has concrete blocks blocking it. So,
That's true, no doubt, not arguing.
so I think it's less of an issue if the chain is
But
down.
they've left the chain up there for 16 months illegally, and no one has done anything about it.
My opinion is if the chain was not put up legally, it should be taken down till we get this resolved. I mean, that's my opinion.
I don't disagree
I don't
with
know. I have
that,
no
but
idea.
like I said, I've actually got pictures. I was out there this weekend. There were 4 vehicles blocking the alley. There was also.
Why not? The alley's blocked off.
But I'm just saying, if we're going the road with the chain, we've got to go the full road. So we got to
Fine.
talk about those
You tell the
vehicles. We
people
got to
that
talk
live
about
at
the.
that address, they cannot park in the alley
got-
anymore. But they don't know any difference because it's been chained off for 16
Right,
months.
right.
So
But
they
we also
consider
then
it a
have to
dead-end
address,
alley, so why not park there?
we also have to address the concrete barriers in there as well. So
I
it's,
mean, I have pictures of the vehicles with 2 trucks parked in front of the chain, so you couldn't simply unhook it in an emergency vehicle, get through there. Is what was stated at the last planning meeting.
Your point's well taken. Your point's well taken. But, I mean, I think we have also the issues with the concrete barriers on the south side. So it's not a currently
2
functioning
wrongs
alley.
don't make a right.
I would agree, and that's why your point's well taken.
The alley was vacated at Richardson's building right there had been vacated years ago. I was involved when we vacated that. Now, the building that he's talking about there, it's got the concrete barriers. I'm not sure that's part of the vacated alley, but I
That is
do
a-
know
that's a different property
Richardson
owner.
is.
Yep.
And that's been,
right,
they
yeah,
came to us
that,
years
this
ago
property
on
is
that.
north of that property.
Remember that?
Right.
In between the two,
I don't know about
essentially.
that one there, but I do know further south, that was legally vacated.
But Jerry Richardson's, I believe, had the exact same issue in that people weren't informed when alleys were vacated in the past, and they didn't know that they had to take the final step to actually file it at the courthouse and make sure that everybody's on the same page. And it's my opinion that's what's happened here.
So I think we're trying to find the solution. I think we do that by sending it back to the planning commission.
I agree.
So with
I've
that,
got no problem with that.
I would be willing to take a motion on that.
I had a question first
Yeah,
before we
sure.
get to it. Derek, if you wouldn't mind, how far back on records can you actually go? You said you went back to 1960.
We went back to 1960, and to be honest with you, that's well beyond due diligence on our part.
What about the county recorder's office?
I'm sorry?
The county recorder's office?
The minute meetings are kept here in this building.
Well, I mean, but would the county record that kind of stuff?
The county would have not have recorded that stuff without somebody bringing it to them to record it. Right. And that's what we can't find. We cannot find any record that this vacation has been recorded. And to speak to what Jeremy just said, a vacation for a southern portion was done back in 2000, and that document was never recorded as well. So during a title search or a survey, it would not have shown. So that gentleman, Mr. Richardson, has paid counsel to file that so that it does show up in title searches and a survey if ever done. So the problem is there is a recorded deed, but we cannot find a recorded vacation.
Okay.
So, you know, I can't speak to the legalities of a deed, but language in a deed can be wrong at times, and that's what title insurance and title searches are for. And in this case, with the survey that we did commission, that information would have been brought forth at that time when they did the research to find what's been vacated, where property lines are, and so forth and so on.
Okay.
So
And I mean-
that's where we're at currently.
Well, I'm assuming you guys are going to do due diligence when it goes back to the planning commission. I move we send it back to the planning commission.
We have a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor of sending this of docket 1537 back to the Planning Commission for further review. All in favor? Aye. Those
Is it gonna
opposed?
Be this month, though, in 2 weeks, we're gonna have
It will
one
not be this month. Unfortunately, the Plan Commission meeting is Monday, and we have to have 10 days for notice, so it'll be on the March agenda.
Those opposed? Okay. Motion passes. All right. And hopefully we get that resolved once and for all at that meeting. All right, next up is the Farm Heritage Trail special event request. I put this on the agenda. Yeah, come on up. Also, after this presentation, I would like to have the council maybe go through a brief discussion of what we want to do in future cases of this. This is a request from the Friends of Boone County Trails to rent, or not rent, but use the trail for, I believe, a 5K kind of bike event.
Bunch of stuff.
Bunch of stuff, exactly. But there's no really, because we accepted the land, we don't really have a procedure in place for using the trail. So maybe that's a discussion we can have either tonight or at a later event as well, too. But I will hand it over to you, sir, to explain the event you're requesting the special use for.
Okay, my name's Dan Workentine. I'm the president of the Friends of Boone County Trails. It's a little bit complicated because we're asking permission to have an event on kind of a trail that we have permission to be on, and we own part of it, and we don't own part of it, so that's why it's a little bit complicated. I'd also like to thank everybody involved with getting the part paved out by Menards, and that really looks nice if you haven't been out there. I was out on the trail after one of the very first snows, and with a couple of my friends, and the snow's 2 or 3 inches deep. We're walking down the trail, and out in front of me is a cowboy coming down the trail. I didn't have his horse, but he had cross-country skis. And I don't know where he came from, because there was no tracks going out, but there were tracks coming back in. So it was really nice to see a guy in his cowboy hat and just heading down the trail. And so that was really pretty neat. The trail has a lot of uses. It's not only for cowboys cross-country skiing, but it's bird watchers. There's geocaching. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's where people hide stuff out there, and then they go find it. And we ran into some people out there one time looking for things, and they said this was the hot spot in the state of Indiana for geocaching, because somebody here in Lebanon had gone out and placed a lot of those, they're like in little Tupperware containers, and you can find them hidden along the side of the trail if you kind of know where to look, or if you have your GPS and look it up ahead of time, then you put your name in it and so forth and so on. We want to plan an event for April 30th, and it's not a grand opening necessarily, but it's kind of a celebration. It has to go with, if you notice the title of the page I gave you, the Farm Heritage Trail Day, a community choice in healthy living. And we're trying to team up and partner up with them, with the Y, with other groups that are into healthy living sorts of things. We're going to open it up to just about anybody that can legally be on the trail. We've already talked to some nursing homes. It'd be great to have people come out since it's paved now. They can bring people out and go on the trail. There'll be a 5K run. There's going to be some tricycle events. There's going to be things on bicycle safety. We're also going to be doing a little raffles and so forth and so on to generate a little bit of income to hopefully cover some of the costs that we see there on my budget for that. And if you notice there in the last sentence, that top paragraph, it's going to be instruction, education, family, health, celebration, and a fun, just a fun mix of everything. And it's going to start about 9 in the morning, and the end is like unending, because if people want to get on the bikes and ride to, wherever, as far as ways they can get, and they get back at 5 o'clock in the evening or something, that's perfectly fine. We'll probably be done around noontime with what we're going to be doing. And we're still in, in fact, we have a board meeting on Wednesday. We're going to start finalizing more of what we want to come up with. We're also working with Menards to use their parking lot. And there's a little grass area right there by the trailhead, which would be handy for setting up little booths and groups like that. And if for some reason we can't do that, I have permission to use Lebanon Bible Baptist Church, and which is down a few blocks away, but we can use their facility as a staging area if we need to, as a backup plan. So I'm asking permission that we'd have that event, and any questions?
All right. So like I said, this is kind of the first one of this we're kind of dealing with, so that's why I thought I would bring it to the full council, make sure we approve this one, give them the authority to move forward with it if we choose to do so, and then also kind of maybe have a discussion of, do we want the parks to handle this? Do we want, street department, right, kind of, yeah, so.
Parks Department should be the one to handle it, not us.
I agree, and I think in the future that will be the case, and so we can talk about that. But like I said, the first time I want to make sure we did a motion from this,
Yeah,
from the
the
city
city
council.
actually owns the property.
Exactly,
so-
exactly, and that's,
Council, or Campbell said.
he said he would like the Parks Department to handle in the future, so we don't have to deal with it here.
It actually belongs to them. That's who's going to have it. I mean, they're responsible for it.
I agree, and I think that's what I was going to suggest as well.
Right, but I'm saying it's in our city. We do run it, but the Parks Department is the one that's actually, that and the Street Department are the ones maintaining it.
Right, but we don't have any procedures in place as a city to say.
understand that,
So that's why it's before the council tonight, so.
think,
Yep,
Mayor.
all right. So.
Thank you very much. It looks like you've done a lot of hard work. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you very much. All right, do we have a motion from the council then to let them have their event?
Second.
So moved.
I can't offer a motion, so I'm just saying,
Oh,
is there,
I
I
thought-
said,
I
is
thought-
there one?
I
Yeah,
thought Mike made the motion. I'm sorry, Mayor. I'll make the motion.
okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, your
Thank
event is approved. Okay, now. Yes. All right. Okay, so now, is everyone okay with me kind of handing this off to John in the Parks Department to say, hey?
Do
come
we
up
need
with
to
a-
do anything formally to get it there in the future? I mean, or is it just now going to assume to go to parks, or?
We
how's
could
that?
always make a motion to be safe to give the,
No, I think the council should know what's going on. I don't actually care who maintains it. We still should be part of it as far as knowing what's going on.
okay.
We get calls and stuff like, hey, we need to be able to answer the questions. I think.
So notification
I think it
process.
should come here, yeah.
Well, I think that could be given at Board of Works meetings.
Yeah, I think it should come here.
You guys okay with Board of Works meetings, or you guys prefer council? It'd be like a,
Closure, that sort of thing.
Yeah, just send it to the Board of Works. It'll be
Board of
fine.
Works normally handles things of that nature. back in the
That way, if we
50s.
get calls and stuff, we know what's going on
Either
there.
that or the park
Quick,
board.
quick question on that as well. Maybe John can help me answer this one as well. Is there going to be a fee charged for the use of the property?
another great question to talk about.
It's a good question.
Well, I know it's already been passed, but I'm saying, if we're going to start something, it's going to be the future of things. I don't know how the park works on some of these rentals now, but, I mean, are there fees imposed with some of these
I
rentals?
think the first one
And-
was a
and
little bit of a,
insurance, I mean, if you're gonna have events, you need to have insurance, and we
There's
need to have
insurance on that.
liability and all
Yeah,
that.
we
No,
got
no, I
insurance on that.
understand, but I mean, there's all those things that need to be looked at. So you want an entity of the city somewhere to be responsible for that. We do have a park board, which also could, all these events go before, so I think that would be a good first choice. Then I can inform the Board of Works, which I do at every report that we do.
We need to know what's going on. I think the
Yes,
city should
yes.
be. I don't see nothing on there on cleanup,
Okay.
on anybody cleaning.
well, we can, I'll work with John, we'll put something together for the next meeting, and we can all vote on that and give that over to the park, so we
Yeah, I
don't
don't
have
see
to worry
nothing
about it
on
anymore.
cleaning nothing up or anything on there at all.
Yep.
Yeah, it is,
All right.
it's $750, but last line, miscellaneous items.
Okay. All right. Is there any other new business to come before the council?
Mr. Kincaid?
I've actually had a few people approach me in a multitude of different directions with questions, comments, concerns with regards to State Road 39 bridge. So I'd like to maybe open up a community forum, either in the room tonight, definitely possibly down the road, set up a meeting to talk about different options with the bridge, whether it be obviously maintain, what the costs of that involve, and any changes that we may look at making.
Okay, I think that's something we probably could organize. You said a kind of a community discussion on it kind of thing?
Exactly.
Okay. We can always do that and kind of come back and inform council, I guess. Any other, we'll work on that, organize one. We'll keep you updated on that. And get the info for that. Any other new business come before the council? Okay. Just a couple quick announcements. If you live on Indianapolis Avenue, you should perk up a little bit. We will be having a public meeting for the Indianapolis Phase 2 project. We're in the initial stages of that, and we wanted to reach out to the community and host and then give kind of an ability, kind of an informative session for everyone. That will be on February 18th at 6:30 at the REMC Community Room. So if you live in the area of Indianapolis Avenue or just are a concerned citizen, that's a public event. Feel free to come by and kind of see the plans, and if you have any questions. The homeowners that are directly impacted and in the kind of the general vicinity will receive notices, but will be before that. So we're kind of reaching out to them on that. Councilman?
Are they, you haven't started the Heart of Lebanon meeting yet? You haven't noticed that part yet, have you, on the
I have.
agenda?
I have.
They're conflicting schedules?
But that's part of the reason why the Heart of Lebanon is a hard schedule at 7, because I am double booked that day as well. So
'Cause I guarantee you there'll probably be a lot of feedback on that phase 2 of Indianapolis Avenue.
right. So hopefully it shouldn't be too long of a presentation, and at least get some good information out there. And again, it's the beginning of a discussion. It's not the end of it. So
I understand.
Mine says 7 or 6:30 for Heart of Lebanon.
yeah, that should be. Well, they both start at 6:30, but it's a hard start at 7 for the.
Change it around a little bit? I mean, you're going from Arnie's over to RMC building.
The engineering firm that's working on the Phase 2 has set that date before the Heart of Lebanon date was set. And again, they're two different areas. I know there's probably some concerned citizens, but I think if you can make both. And any information from the meeting will be public, so we'll have that information if you're concerned about it as well. Okay? And then you kind of stole my thunder on the second one. So the second announcement is, if you weren't here for the Board of Works meeting, the Heart of Lebanon group, which is our downtown group, is receiving its official State of Indiana Main Street designation. That's a pretty big deal from the state of Indiana. Previous downtown groups have not received that designation, so this is kind of a big step for them. They're kind of having a open, welcoming everybody, pizza, things like that. It'll be at the second floor of Arnie's on, as we said, the conflict date, February 18th at 6:30. So a lot going on those 2 days. So mark that on your calendar. Move forward. Is there any other new business before the council? Okay. In the Board of Works meeting, we approved the claims excluding voucher number 44021. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims,
Make motion to approve the claims,
excluding 44021.
excluding 44201.
Okay. I think you mean 44021, but it's okay. I think we know what we meant. Okay, motion and a second to approve the claims excluding voucher 44021. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion to approve the claims passes. Do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion. Second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.